Hey y'all, it's Alberto at Braustin Mobile Homes. And today we've got a special edition covering the Elevate Conference hosted by Clayton Home Building Group in Nashville, Tennessee. This fall, a few members from the Braustin team had the opportunity to attend the Elevate Conference hosted by Clayton Home Building Group in Nashville, Tennessee. For the last couple years, Clayton Homes, one of the largest builders of factory-built housing, has hosted a national convention where they invite independent retailers from across the country who have met certain industry goals. Unlike your typical factory showcase that is all about product and sales strategies, our team was thrilled to see that this entire event was centered around creating a world-class customer experience. Clayton Homes executives, conference speakers, and even independent retailers on discussion panels discussed what they were doing and what could be done to improve the customer experience within our own industry. Our team had the opportunity to sit on one of these discussion panels titled Disruption and share with dealers across the country what the Braustin team is doing to improve the level of transparency, communication, and convenience within the factory-built housing industry. Clayton Homes was nice enough to share some of the video highlights from our discussion panel. We hope you enjoy.
Yeah. Well, hey, I'm Paul Fortenberry. I'm the Director of Communications for the Home Building Group, and it is absolutely my privilege to host our two panels today. And our first panel I'm super excited about. It is centered around disruption. And so I'd like to introduce our two panelists. First up is Alberto Pena. He is with Braustin Homes. He's been in the industry for about a decade now. He started Braustin in 2017. His team is doing some really cool stuff. So everybody welcome up Alberto Pena. Alberto, before we jump into Braustin, I think we want to play a video to really get people's heads around what makes your company a disruptor. So if we've got that ready.
To some people, they are the mobile home geeks. Two brothers who launched a tiny startup in a cubby on the 8th floor of geekdom. Their goal? Make home ownership affordable. They tap into technology to operate a virtual dealership.
We really appreciate everything y'all have done for us.
And we're proud to be part of the Braustin family, and I will promote you guys to my dying day. And I wish you guys great success. You're going to have great success because you're a great company.
Thank you, Braustin.
Alberto, your team at Braustin, as we just saw, are working on some really cool things and really challenging how a customer buys a home. You've worked in the industry for almost a decade, but like we said, you started Braustin in 2017. What fueled you to start the company in an effort to try and do something different?
Well, actually, next month will be a full 10 years. Starting to get the gray hairs to prove it. And to see something like this is just, it's mind-blowing. The fact that everybody flew out here to have these kind of conversations and to start talking about how we can improve the experience. If I think back 10 years ago when I was 23, it just wasn't the case. It was a lot of, here's how it's always been done, and starting off brand new in an industry and a company, you just do what you're told. But after 6 months or so of 90+ hour weeks and putting up hundreds of bandit signs each day, you start thinking, there's got to be a better way. I order pizzas differently than we're selling homes. I order cars differently than we're selling homes, and just really started to question things. And sometimes there was this conflict of, do we go all in on digital or do we stay status quo? And I get it, change is hard, it's difficult, it's scary. But I was constantly thinking about the Netflix story and how Blockbuster had the opportunity to acquire them, and they passed on it because they were making too much money on late fees. And now Netflix rules the entertainment world and Blockbuster doesn't exist. And so when we started Braustin, we didn't want to go the road of Blockbuster.
Yeah, and your story specifically is crazy. You're in this industry, and the day before Thanksgiving, a couple years ago, you get laid off. Nothing anyone ever wants to hear. But then it gave you some time to think, like you said, why are we doing the same things all the time? What was the vision when you had that time to create an incredible experience for customers in a way that isn't being done in our industry?
When our initial team, we were sitting down, and the holidays are the slower time of the industry, so we really had time to think. And for us, it was an incredible opportunity to just start from scratch. Tons of debates and discussions, but once we decided what we wanted to do, we were able to act on it super quick. And for us, it came down to two things. A lot of the stuff we talked about today is the experience for the customers and also the experience for the team members. And so one of the things, if you think about how people buy stuff online, other than our industry and some furniture, you just can't imagine e-commerce without seeing a price, right? So that's one of the things we led with. Was transparent upfront pricing, and once we got rid of the haggling and the negotiating, we were able to focus more on the experience and making it fun and exciting to buy a home, which in turn made it fun and exciting for our team to help people buy a home, and just kind of built from there.
Definitely. So you guys do 70% of your sales online, right? A customer never really interacts with you until the close, right? 70%. What type, and we'll show some examples on here, but what type of specific technology do you guys leverage to take advantage of that? That's a crazy number that you don't really interact with people face to face. It's all done online through the different technologies you guys use.
So yeah, 70% of the folks we serve, we will never meet face to face. It's entirely online and over the phone. And so there's tons of interaction, it's just different, right? And if I think back to how we were starting it, the first thing was the website. And as a bootstrap company, our website wasn't the prettiest. Jeff and I were talking a big wheel. There's tons of ideas we want to do when we get back still. But we had posted price, and we had a spreadsheet that showed, if you live here, here's what it costs to deliver. And then we started really focusing on the education piece. We've got a podcast, the Double-Wide Dudes. We focus a lot on blogs, a lot on video content, so that we were educating folks 2 years before they called us, a year before they call us, because that's really when the journey starts, right? From there, we've really quickly hit a bottleneck of paperwork, and that was a pain point both for us and the consumer. And so we spent a lot of time, money, and effort on building the software that takes this massively complicated process to a first-time home buyer. For us, we do it every day. We understand it. But if you're a first-time home buyer, it's scary, right? It breaks it into little simple chunks. Here's your to-do list. Here's what's been submitted. Here's what's been approved by the bank. It allows them to scan and upload everything all from their smartphone at the house. And from there, we evolved that into instant communication throughout the process. So if the AC is getting installed, rather than us calling and telling them that, they get a notification on the app, and everybody's in the know, everybody's happy. And now we use it for the service. So they use the app to snap pictures of all their cosmetic defects. They make a list, and they take ownership of that list because they made it, right? And then they get it to us. We use the pictures, we order parts, and our goal is to knock out service in one trip. It's quick, fast, and easy for everybody.
Before we move into the next part, I'm going off script here a little bit, but what's been the, reception with the app? To me, it's so intuitive. This makes so much sense. What's been the reception from your customers? Is this just, they're like, oh yeah, this makes it easy?
Yeah, it just matches what everyone else is doing in other industries. And that's, what Keith was talking about yesterday. I don't know if we're disrupting as much as we're evolving, because everyone else in other industries is doing this. We really just copied bits and pieces from companies like CarMax and Netflix, and just did what they're doing and applied it to our space.
That's so cool. And then I know you want to kind of continue that transformation for you guys. So you have the app, you have the website, and then now you guys are doing something really cool and different as well.
Yeah, so we added an augmented reality component to our software Spent about a year working on that. And so now we've opened a kiosk inside of the H-E-B grocery store there in New Braunfels. And again, we copied someone else. We patterned this off the Apple store. They're super successful, spent a ton of money deciding this is what people want. And when you walk in, you get a tablet. All the floor plans come to life with augmented reality, all the giant canvases. If you point the tablet at that, turn into customer stories in video form. They can put on the Oculus headset if they see a home they want to walk through a bit more and you're actually in the house. And then if they've got questions, we've got it set up for video chat in the back with our sales team. And that was definitely one of the things. It was either cool or crazy, we didn't know, but the initial reaction's been really exciting, and we're working on our second expansion in H-E-B right now.
That's incredible. So when you think of selling a home, and you talked a lot about communication throughout this process is so important, and what I found stunning, I was really interested when we started going down this road to find what your NPS was and what your referral rate was. 70% NPS, incredible, and 25% referral rate, and yet 70% of your customers only meet you maybe once. What do you think that speaks to about communication and just how prepared customers are to walk through that process digitally?
I think if the communication's there, whether it's, we may sell a home to someone 400 miles away, but if the communication's there via phone call, text, email, whatever they want, they're going to be perfectly okay with that, right? And so a lot of that comes down to listening, asking customers what do they want, and yes, learning from the mistakes, but we really focus on the successes because that's what we want more of, right? What was it about this that made you happy when we get a 5-star review, and how can we do more of that? And then a lot of it is really this culture of discipline in the details with our team. We use a CRM for every part of our process, our operations team, from marketing to sales. Everybody is knee deep in this CRM so that when we call a customer, because we're not talking about price, we get to know them and understand every single person that's going to live in that home. And so when we follow up, it's not, hey, do you have your down payment yet? It's, hey, little Jimmy had a baseball game this weekend, how do you do? Right? And so it's really focusing more on the relationships and empowering the sales team through that CRM to remember everything about a customer without keeping it in their head.
So again, I'm going off script a little bit here, but what would you say to someone that that could embrace technology but is maybe scared or weary of it, not sure like how far they should take it? What would be your advice for someone that would want to do this but aren't sure of the next steps? What would you say to a retailer that is interested in this but just not sure what to do?
You definitely don't have to go all in on software. That takes a lot of time and it is expensive. There's several simple things you can do, and YouTube is a tremendous resource. I learned how to fly fish 100% on YouTube. So you can learn how to do everything you want on YouTube if you just go listen and learn. Something as simple, we use Pipedrive. It's a $12 a person CRM, super cheap. It's like a picture book for your sales team. And the things that allows you as a leader of the organization or your salespeople to do it's just incredible, right? And it keeps everybody on the same page. So if the salesperson's off that day and someone else answers the phone, we've got all their notes there and we address them by name because the number matches that and we know who it is. And it's little things like that they don't cost a lot of money, they don't take a lot of time, you don't have to be massively tech savvy to do. But those are those little things that we've been talking about this week that I think make a big difference.
And both companies are doing things that are disrupting how they find labor. I think it's so cool. And Alberto, I'll let you kind of touch on all the different things that you're doing. And even 5 minutes ago, I learned a couple different things about your team that just really are changing how you do business and how you're able to find the best people for what you do.
Yes, sir. So one of the things we really focused on out the gate was creating systems and processes that allowed our team members to work wherever they want, right? We had a team member, his father was ill. He was able to go be by his father's side and led the team in sales for those 2 months that he was gone. But beyond that, we want the best talent, right? Not just the best talent in our city. And so our head of marketing, Jeff, I've worked with him a little over 4 years. This week was the first time I've ever met him face to face. And Rachel's our operations manager. She works here in Tennessee. We're based in San Antonio, and she keeps our whole system running and our customers happy using our software from 400 miles away. And other things, being in the tech hub of downtown San Antonio, we're exposed to some tremendous opportunities. That is a tech hub that Graham Weston, one of the initial investors and CEO of Rackspace, has really pioneered some things there, and he backs a nonprofit, the 80/20 Foundation, and they do this internship, Students Plus Startups, where they cover half the cost of an intern. We get a tremendously talented individual for what equates to $5 an hour, and we actually ended up hiring our intern from this summer to be a permanent part of our team. And now that we've got these HEB kiosks, we've started using that as an opportunity, almost a farm system, just like baseball will have, AAA baseball, where we've got an extremely high caliber individual interacting with customers at the HEB that wants to be part of the sales force, but we don't have room for him quite yet, so he's taking advantage of that opportunity to learn the product, learn how our customers want to interact. And so when we do have room for him on the sales force, he's going to be fully trained and ready to go with hands-on training through that HEB kiosk. Our team walked away with a ton of ideas, perspectives, and we're completely fired up to get back to San Antonio and continue refining Braustin to make it easier and more enjoyable than ever to buy a new home. As we look to the future of Braustin and enhancing the customer experience within our own company, your feedback is absolutely invaluable. Feel free to drop us a comment on Facebook or shoot us a message on our website at www.findmymobilehome.com. Or give us a call at 210-874-5527. As always, don't be shy with any questions you may have. We look forward to hearing from you. We'll talk to you soon.